In this lesson, we are going to talk about the soft selection and the symmetry. This can be something we take a little bit early, but it is necessary for you to understand all this because depending on the kind of model you are making, you might want to need something advanced to create something advanced. You might want to need something advanced to create something advanced. Don't mind my word. I'm going to show you guys. Okay, so first, let's say we have a sphere. We're going to make use of a sphere because this is what we can use to really talk more about the soft selection. Now, we want to make a kind of edit, or let's say we want to move the vertex, but when we move it, we don't want this sharp edge. Now, if we move this, and we go into the object mode, you can see how sharp this is. This is not what I want. What I want to do is move some parts of this my sphere to create something, let's say to create something like an egg shape. Let's just put it that way, just to create something like an egg shape. Now think about how long it is going to take me to achieve something like that if I try to do it myself. So I might say I can select this, move it out, select this, move it out, select this, move it out, and you can see that I'm unable to get the exact position where I move the first vertex to. So the question is, how long will you continue with this? Oh, okay, you can say I'm just going to select everything all at once. Yes, that is going to work. You can just hold and shift, select this, this, and this, and this, and you can just move it. Now we have something like this here, and we don't want to select this part. Now, if you encounter this, you can just go over to your modeling toolkit. This is what I told you guys in one of the lessons before, telling you that this modeling toolkit, I'm not going to explain this in that lesson because as we keep working, we are going to make use of the modeling toolkit, and I am going to explain some things for you as we keep going. So because I make use of the box selection, you can see that I have all that vertex selected from the back of my sphere. Now, if you want to prevent this, you just have to come over to your modeling toolkit from here, and this part that says camera based selection, you can see that it is currently set to off. If you click on that drop down menu and set it to on, now if I click off and I box select all this, if I go to the back, I won't be able to select all the vertex from the back. And why is that happening? This is because we've tell Maya that everything facing the camera selected, and everything that is not facing the camera, don't select it. That is the reason why we can select those ones from the back. Okay, now we'll make a box selection and we have all this selection. Now you can just drag this out, but take a look at this. You can see the kind of weird shape this is making, and we can achieve something like an egg with this. Or would you say you are going to come down to this part here and start dragging them out to create the kind of shape you are going for? Of course, how long is it going to take you to create something like this? This is where the soft selection comes in handy. You can see it here from the modeling toolkit. To enable it, you just want to click on this button here, and now you can enable the soft selection. Now you can see when we activate the soft selection, it is selecting everything in on our sphere, and there is no way we can adjust this because if we try to move, it is going to move all the sphere. Now we need to tell Maya to reduce this soft selection to some certain area of our mesh. How are you going to do that? When you hold down the B key on your keyboard, you can make use of the middle mouse click to increase the selection when you have some places selected. Normally this is supposed to be the left click, but I don't know why This is making use of the middle mouse click. So if you try the left click in yours, it did not work, just make use of the middle mouse click. And if you have any issue aside from that, just leave a comment down below and we are going to solve that for you. Okay, now when we make this selection just like this, when you decide to move, you can see what is going on. Okay, let me undo this and try to make this a bit bigger. Let's say here, like this is fine. Now, when I move this, you can see that it is moving everything along, and we don't have those sharp edge. Now if I select this and hit on 3 to go into the smooth preview, you can see how smooth this is looking. Now you can use this to manipulate your shapes to give you egg, that is if that is what you want to create. So I'm going to undo this. You can also come over to the top from here and just select this one, hold on B, and then you can increase this selection depending on the way you want. I'm going to rotate this and just say I want to drag this up. Let's just put it that way. Or you can say you want to come all the way down to the middle depending on how you want to do it. So when you come down to the middle, you can also drag this up. Not just drag, you can hit on R and you can scale it, hit on W and you can move it. Take a look at this. You can see how easy this is for us to use in manipulating our object. Now we can go off and now you can see that we have the egg-like shape and with all proportion intact. That is one thing the soft selection does in Maya, and that is how you can make use of the soft selection. Let's talk about the symmetry. Symmetry is a little bit tricky. I'm going to delete this and make sure I disable the soft selection from here. Symmetry is something that is really going to help you model fast in Maya, and we have two types of symmetry. We have the word symmetry and we have the object symmetry. So let's say we have a cube from here. I am making use of these different marquee menus so that you get used to the marquee menu. So just pick any one you like using and go ahead and make use of it. Now, so let's say we have a cube here and I have a cut in the middle here. This different part of my model, they are going to be the same thing. But if I model this part now, I still need to come over to this part here and model this part. So the question you want to ask yourself, how long are you going to do this? Do you have to model this side and come back to model this side? That is the question you are going to ask yourself. Well, you don't have to. You have two ways of doing that, but we're not going to take a look at that in this course except it is necessary. We have the option of mirroring. Now you can just model this part, do anything you want to do from here, just like this. And now you can just go over to mesh, scroll the way down to this part that says mirror, and you can see that we have a little bit of an issue here. Now this is what you are going to do. You first of all need to select, let's just cancel this mirror, hit on Ctrl Z. We don't need that. Now you need to first of all select, go into the face mode, select all these faces here. Remember we turn off the camera, we turn on the camera bridge selection, so we're going to turn it off. Now you just have to select all these faces from here and just hit on Control plus delete. And when you delete that, you want to right click, go into the object mode. Now when you've gone into the object mode, you want to shift right click and go to the part that says mirror, or you can go to the mesh and you can get mirror from here. And now when you do the mirroring, you can see that what we have here is mirror to the other side of our mesh. Now we have the axis. The axis is currently set to X. So depending on the axis you want to mirror, if you want to mirror the Z axis, which is the front, you change this to Z axis. If you want to mirror the Y axis, you go ahead and mirror the Y axis. Now, if you are mirroring from the right to the left, it is going to be the minus direction, and if you're mirroring from the left to the right, it is going to be the plus. Now, the border merging, you want to merge this border to have one particular shape or one particular mesh, and we have different positions. We have the object and the word. You are going to understand this object when we go in depth of the symmetry. So that is another way you can do it. But the most quickest way to achieve this in Maya is by enabling symmetry. Keep in mind, symmetry will not work if you don't have something like a demarcation in the middle of your object. You need to have something like an edge in the middle of an object before the symmetry is going to work. That is why I have this edge here. Now, to activate the symmetry, you can come down to your modeling toolkit here. Now, if you're the type that don't make use of the modeling toolkit and you are like me that usually make use of Maya in full screen or in just the expert mode, you want to go over to the top here and you're going to get the symmetry. And when you click on the drop down menu, you are going to get different options. We're just going to take a look at the word and the object. So first, we want to work on, first of all, you need to take a look at the axis you are working on. So if we look at this, if we go into the object mode, hit on W to select our pivot, you can see that we are working on the X axis. So now you want to go over to this part here that says symmetry, click on that and enable word X. When you enable word X, you are going to get this right up from here saying symmetry word X, so that you will be able to know that symmetry is enabled. So from here, if I go into the edge mode, if I select this edge, you can see that this edge here, it's also selected, and if I move this is also going to move. Now let's say I select this, I go into the face mode, I select this face and I hit on Ctrl E to extrude that face and I drag this out. You can see that it is also going to drag out here. But keep in mind, this is going to work only on word X, not word Z or word Y. Now, if you go and set this to word Z, you can see what is going on here. Or select the front, it is going to select one from the back. And if you set this to word Y, when you select the top, it is also going to select the bottom. So this is the use of symmetry. It is going to help you to model the two sides of your object at the same time. This is really handy when you are creating something like a plane, just a symmetrical shape and so on. This is really going to help you to model fast in Maya. And if you feel like you don't like this, you can just switch over to the mirroring method, which I think that can also work, but sometimes you might have issue with the mirroring method. Okay, so now let's take a look at the object symmetry. Now I'm going to create a cube. This time I'm going to move this cube away from the middle of my word. Now, if you want to make use of the word symmetry, you need to make sure that your object is in the middle of the word. You can see it here. And if you can't tell that your object is in the middle of the word, you want to go back to your channel editor and you can look from here, translate X, just click on that and type in 0 and hit on enter, and it is going to reset it back to the middle of the word. But sometimes you might keep working and working and working and working. When you extrude, you scale, you do everything, it is going to manually get off the center of the word in Maya. Now, how are you going to do this if you want to make use of symmetry? So I'm going to move this away from the center of my word in terms of every axis. You can see it's no longer in the center of my word in X, Y, and Z. Now, if you want to enable symmetry, let me grab the multi-chord tool from here. Let me add an edge here in the middle. Now, you can see currently that symmetry is turned on, but when I select an edge, when I select an edge, we can't select the other edge automatically. Why? That is because this object, it's no longer in the middle of our world. Now, for us to enable symmetry based on object, we can come down to this part here, or we'll go to the symmetry and enable object X. Now you can see the moment I enable object X, I can select that edge there. So now you can see this is how you can make use of the word symmetry and the object symmetry. In the next lesson, we'll go and talk about the combine and the separate operation in Maya. I'm going to see you guys in the next lesson.